She can do most anything. She can dance and she can sing, 'cause she is Shirley everything. Hey.
Well, Shirley, I think we had a great spring break, didn't we?
Yes, and it was wonderful of you to accompany me on this trip back, because I was going to go back to see my old home and be with my friends there for 2 weeks. And I don't know how I would have done it without.
Well, it was a lot of fun, and especially with you flying the plane.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Mr. Paul Hamlin was very nice enough to loan us his antique Chinese Manchung Flyer plane, and he's a nice guy here in Pensacola who we met, and immediately, you know, I had to get this picture of you. Remember this one, cougaring up with this Mr. Hamlin and his friend Mr. Jester.
Well, as we talked before, I had to turn into a cougar because I can't find guys younger.
Well, this other guy...
I mean, older.
Well, this other guy looks pretty good, too, and he's got a Russian yak.
Oh, well, I don't care about that. I mean,
well, you like to fly?
I liked his looks.
Yeah, well, they liked you, too.
Yeah. What was the first thing we did? Well, that night we had everybody over for happy hour.
Well,
we didn't have them over, they just all stopped over. Well, it was a
Was-
retirement vacation spot. And it was a vacation spot, and as you see, everybody there, they're not talking about work.
No, we have, I learned the rule, the 4-6-8. Cocktails at 4, dinner at 6,
And
get
out.
lost by 8. That was a good rule. If people would do that.
Well, that was my original rule, and they all remember it.
Well, we did get messed up that first night because we were an hour time difference.
Oh, it was hard. We had to change the time twice.
We had to drink early twice. Well, I do know that helped us that day that we went to go drink at Bonita Bill's, which we love that place. That's one of your favorite places. You might talk more about it, but Shirley and I were drinking at 10 o'clock in the morning, beer with our friends.
Well, that's not the normal,
Frank
though.
and Ruth. Ann, was not the normal?
Well, we usually like to go to Bonita Bill's, and it's an old beach bar. You know, if you ever remember those, where bare feet, or pier right there.
Well,
A bird can fly through, a dog can walk through, nobody pays any attention.
Well, I like their slogan because I think that maybe some of the places here should have it. So, of course, you know, you see the no shirt, no shoes, no service here. This one says, no shoes, no shirt, can I get you a beer?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of friendly.
Well, we're not real fussy people down there. We are there for fun.
Are you having any fun? Are you doing any living? What good is what you got if you're not having any fun? Hooray!
Everybody was so happy to see you.
Well, see, I got a good reputation. That breeds a good following.
Well, you know, we did have some rousing discussions with now all your friends that are there are parents, your grandparents and great-grandparents, and we were talking about raising kids, and it was very interesting for me to listen to your perspective with your peers about how child rearing and, you know, differs maybe from how you raised your children, or even maybe how I raised my child.
It's instant punishment, not this time out. Honey, go to the corner and have time out. And then they go in there for 5 seconds and jump up and say, okay, and they're through.
Well, I found it very coincidental that when we got back, you know, Quentin and Rishi had printed the list of these 66 things you should say to your child, and they're all really nice. But then didn't you tell me you would add a couple things? I would too, really. You know, I mean, these are better than the
I
good
didn't
job.
read theirs, but I figure mine were easier and better.
Don't you? You really? Well, I mean, like what are some of the ones you would have added?
Well, a little crack on the behind never would hurt them.
Sometimes you have to.
Yeah, catch them when they're doing it, not when they have to remember it when they're this high. How long is their memory? So, no. I mean, I was no perfectionist as far as raising kids, but they both turned out okay.
I think that what you said, one was good, stop.
Yeah, just wait. No,
stop.
and I says, no should mean no, and I shouldn't ever have to say it twice. No, Peter, Don't know. Mommy said no. Did you hear me, Peter? Mama said no. Once should be enough.
Was your mom like that?
Oh, my mother was the crack in the neck type. Every time I went faster, you'd go like that.
Well, did you listen when she said something?
Oh, she said I got more spankings than all the others put together.
Oh.
So I don't know if that should tell you anything or not.
So maybe, yeah, that one time in the first.
One thing, she said she was too old when she had me. See, I was the youngest, and her patience had run out. But then women had their children early, starting in their late teens or that.
Well, Quint showed us that picture of you with Susan, which was real little, so cute. You and your beer bottle.
Oh. Well, you shouldn't be talking about beer all the time. They're going to think all we did is guzzle beer.
No, but it was I don't know.
We did most of our celebrating at home, or all our holiday parties, and everybody was together. The grandmas, the aunts, and the kids, and the guys would play cards and drink beer, and the women would watch the kids trying to kill each other, I think.
Well, when we were over there, I know everybody always wants to know about Quint and Rishi and how everybody's doing over here. And you had that magazine that you showed them, that 850 magazine. And
oh, the lady saw it on my
interesting.
table, and she asked if she could take it, read it. And I says, take it home with you, and you can keep it if you want it. And then she was lending it around.
Well, that was very modest of you for us to mix it in with all those other magazines, so it didn't look like we were showing off. But I know you're proud of your son. I would have put it there too.
I didn't do it though.
Yes, you did.
You did.
You told me to.
I just throw it on the table, but you went and you put all kinds of stuff.
No, but you said you didn't want to look like we were bragging about him, so I
never...
got my health and shape magazines and stuck them in there so it looked just like it was a lot of
I knew there was something about you I liked. You're clever.
Well, then
sneaky and clever.
Well, look, and then he showed us yesterday this other magazine. You said he thought it looked familiar. It was him on there, The Powerful Women of the Gulf Coast magazine, with Quint and Rishi. And Quint has done some mentoring with this lady who started a magazine. But Shirley was quite pleased to see this magazine. I know. It's a very good article. I'd never seen this magazine. It's new magazine. It's about women.
Doesn't
powerful
seem like
women.
there's much to it. What is it?
No, it just needs content. It doesn't have to be fluff. It talks about Studer Institute, and he says, so I think he credits you with this, some women actually make the better leaders because that's one of those natural strengths they have, such as my mother.
Did he say that?
He has told me that before.
Oh, you're making that up.
He's told me that before.
I mean, is it in there?
No.
So I'll see.
Well, he meant you, the editor. Just didn't want to sound so braggy about you. How about that?
You're trying.
But he did say that about women. But he's always said that.
Well, he says to me, Mother, I don't know how people still stay friends with you with what you say. Well, one thing I'm popular with is that dog they bring in here all the time. Well, anyway, this dog is a little thing like that.
Shih Tzu.
But don't bring a big dog around him. He's going to kill it. He just thinks he's James Cagney or something. He's trying to rip up all the dogs in the neighborhood, but he looks so cute and nice, so you don't expect it. And he's not a yelper. You know, these dogs that never shut up, and they're usually little ones that do it. Well, it's just like me, little and make too much noise. You?
Well.
Small but mighty?
Well, we've always had to fight to be heard since we're smaller people. Big people always...
Well, my father always says, don't be afraid of big people, Shirley. The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
I noticed lately you've been talking more about your dad, too. It was always my mother said, now you've got some from your dad.
Well, I lost my dad earlier, but my dad and I were very close. And seeing I was the youngest, he spoiled me. My mother would say, okay, Shirley, you wipe the dishes now. And I'd start wiping and wiping, and my dad would pull the towel away from me and say, go out and play.
I mean, that's why your mother used to pop you when you went by.
No, it was come in here at a certain time, and if you don't, and if I was a little late, I'd walk in the. Oh, she'd always say, "I'm going to give you a crack in the neck." So that's how we did that.
Do you think you're more like your mother or your father?
I'm my own person.
That's a good answer.
I took the best out of both of
Oh,
them.
do you? That's a good answer. Like if they were both living, they would love that answer.
Well, did you ever watch Family Feud? And these families come on, and every time someone gives the answer, they all clap. Good answer, good answer. Quinn said one time to me, "Mother, it's a good thing our family isn't up there. They'd have to have a curtain down to the floor because we'd are probably going to be saying, stupid answer, stupid answer."
Well, that's kind of that shows you're close enough to be honest like that. That's kind of a good quality.
We never were a distant family. We always were good. I had a brother that was shy.
Wilbur.
And he was the one who remained a bachelor. He wasn't shy out with the kids and that, but he wasn't like my older brother. He was more suave and talkative. Wilbur was the little, what would you call the little Dickens?
My
Well, our family, though, all lived within a mile radius of one another, relatives and everything, so naturally we were very close-knit.
Well, you had the lake place to draw people together to the resort.
That was 100 miles away from where we lived.
But I mean, you'd go there in the summer.
Oh yeah, we'd all go to the lake. Well, we bought that resort there and run the resort. Most of the family come and helped with that too. I did everything from selling worms at 5 in the morning to closing up the bar at 2 in the morning.
But you know, that family business shows people how to have.
It was a family place.
Yeah,
You could
business.
come with
I mean,
your children,
hard
your
work.
grandmother, and all that, and they all loved it.
But it also a family business. You are the bottle washer, the chef, the everything. So it's
Well,
good.
my sister and I stayed there most of the time, and it worked out good because she was the brains, and I was more action, you know. I mean, she did all the books and all the figuring,
And you were more
she
the
didn't
people
like to play,
person.
you
You were
know.
more out there with the public. Well, that makes sense.
yeah. But,
You're the people person.
and we both hurt our backs pulling in boats when we saw a storm coming, and we both went to the chiropractor at the same time. And, well, this is kind of risque, though. But
Do tell.
we came out of the chiropractor's office, and I said to my sister, "Gee, did you have to take your shirt off for them to work on your back?" And she says, "No." I said, "Well, he made me take my top off and sit there while I talked to him." She says, "Well, he was a dirty old man."
Did you go back to him?
No, I didn't, I guess. But that seems kind of funny, doesn't it?
Would you have bigger boobs than your sister?
Oh, yeah, and I was 15 years younger, too.
Well, enough said. We
Yeah,
know that.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
now we know. Well, he was a pretty smart chiropractor.
Yeah, I guess so.
Did he help your back?
By God, he did something to it that it just cracked right back in place. Yes, I would go back to him. Because now he wouldn't make me take my top off.
You never know.
Well, anyway,
Yes, here's some more trips then. And here's to 4, 6.
I guess I'll invite you again. You were good. And one thing, she waits on me hand and foot. She spoils me.
It was a lot of fun.
I hope we're not boring you boys. Oh, we're not supposed to go there. They're looking at us, are we? Sorry.